My friend, the first battle in life is not fought on the field of competition. It is fought in the quiet chambers of your own mind. Before a single step is taken, before a single word is spoken, you must decide that you are already the victor. This is not arrogance, it is faith in motion, belief made flesh. When you move as though the outcome is certain, life begins to conspire in your favor. To act like you've already won begins in the imagination. You must see the end before you even take the first step. The picture in your mind must be so vivid, so detailed, that it feels as real as anything you've ever touched. This is not about daydreaming idly. It is about building a mental reality so strong that your heart and mind begin to accept it as truth. When you can feel the joy of the win before it has happened, when you can hear the applause in your mind before it ever reaches your ears, you begin to walk into each day with a quiet, unshakable certainty. Your posture then becomes your first declaration to the world. Shoulders back, chin up, eyes forward. These are not small details, they are the silent signals of confidence. People judge the strength of your belief before they ever hear your words, and they will often follow the one who carries themselves with calm authority. Every movement you make, every step you take, is either telling the world you expect to win or warning it you are ready to surrender. Stand as if the crown is already on your head, and others will begin to treat you accordingly. The way you speak must match the way you carry yourself. Language has power, and it can shape your reality. Replace uncertainty with certainty. Scrap with and. I'll try will. Words are seeds, and what you plant today grows into the results you live tomorrow. A mind that constantly hears itself speak of victory soon forgets what doubt feels like. You are training your own ears to recognize the sound of a winner's voice, and eventually, you will act in alignment with it. Your environment should constantly remind you of where you're going. Surround yourself with symbols, affirmations, and even people who reflect the level of success you are reaching for. Every sight, sound, and influence should be aligned with your vision. If your surroundings are filled with distractions, doubt, or negativity, you will feel it pulling you backward. But when your world is filled with proof of possibility, every day becomes another rehearsal for your inevitable triumph. Obstacles will appear, but a champion's mind does not panic when they do. With in fact, the presence of challenges is often a sign you are moving in the right direction. Mountains are not placed before you to block your path. They are there to prove to you and to others that you are strong enough to climb them. The mindset of someone who has already won treats setbacks as part of the process, not proof defeat. With every hurdle cleared, your belief in yourself deepens. Finally, this way of thinking is not something you put on for a day. It must become who you are. A true winner does not switch between confidence and doubt based on carrying yourself with the posture of a winner more than a matter of physical stance. It is the silent announcement of who you believe yourself to be. When you stand tall, shoulders squared, eyes locked forward, you send a message before you even spoken a word. People read body language faster than they process speech, and they will sense whether you see yourself as powerful or uncertain. A slouched back, wandering gaze, or hesitant step whispers of doubt, while a steady posture shouts of certainty and command. The way you walk into a room can either invite opportunity toward you or cause it to slip past unnoticed. Confidence is magnetic, and it draws people toward you without effort. Like flowers reaching for sunlight, those around you instinctively lean in towards someone who appears self-assured. This isn't about arrogance or domination. It's about the quiet power that says, I know my worth and I know where I'm going. People want to follow those who look like they already have the map, and your posture is the first sign you hold it. Every gesture, from the way you sit to the way you shake hands, becomes an unspoken promise that you can be trusted to lead. A firm handshake is more than a formality. It is an exchange of energy. When you grip with confidence, meet the other person's eyes, and hold your ground, you communicate strength and certainty. This brief moment can set the tone for an entire relationship. A weak handshake suggests hesitation and lack of conviction, while one that is overly aggressive hints at insecurity disguised as force. The balance lies in firmness without strain, a sign of control without the need to overpower. Your eyes are just as important as your stance. Looking forward, not down, signals that you are unafraid of what lies ahead. When you maintain steady, calm eye contact, you tell the other person you are fully present and fully confident in yourself. A winner does not shift their gaze nervously or dart their eyes around the room. They anchor themselves in the moment, commanding attention through stillness as much as through movement. Even the rhythm of your movements reflects your state of mind. Someone who believes they have already won does not rush in panic or shuffle in uncertainty. They move with measured purpose, as if every step is intentional and every gesture has meaning. This controlled pace shows that you are not chasing approval. You are already certain of your place. When you master this, people begin to feel they are in the presence of someone important, even before they know your name. In time, this posture of a winner becomes second nature. You won't have to think about pulling your shoulders back or meeting someone's eyes. It will simply be who you are. The words you choose are not just sounds in the air, they are instructions to your own mind and commands to the world around you. Every sentence you speak builds a framework for how you think, act, I will respond to life. When you speak in uncertain terms, you plant hesitation into your own subconscious, making it more likely you will approach your goals with caution instead of confidence. But when you choose language that assumes victory, you begin to condition your mind to expect it. The shift is subtle but powerful. By turning every conversation into an opportunity, reinforce your belief in your own success. Replacing doubt with certainty begins with simple adjustments. Swap Keef for win and watch how your plans suddenly feel inevitable rather than optional. Trade I hope for I will and notice how your voice carries more conviction. These changes are small on the surface, yet they transform the way you approach challenges. Language is like the rudder of a ship. Turn it slightly, and over time you will find yourself in a completely different place. Speaking the language of triumph also influences how others see you. People are drawn to those who speak with purpose and conviction because it signals reliability and leadership. When you talk about your plans as if they are already in motion, others begin to believe in them too. This creates a ripple effect. Your confidence, their confidence, and before long, opportunities are offered to you because people want to be aligned with someone who moves with certainty. This choice of words is not about denial or ignoring difficulties. It is about refusing to give those difficulties the final word. You can acknowledge a challenge while still speaking in a way that assumes you will overcome it. Instead of saying, these might work, you say, I will make this work. The difference is that one statement leaves room for retreat, while the other closes the door on quitting before the battle has even begun. Over time, this disciplined way of speaking reshapes your inner dialogue. Even when you are alone, the voice in your head will start to echo the same tone of certainty you use in public. You will find yourself thinking in terms of solutions instead of problems, progress instead of setbacks. The language of triumph becomes the default setting of your mind, and from that point forward, it becomes nearly impossible to see yourself as another other than a winner. Eventually, these declarations of certainty stop being mere words and become lived truth. The more you speak them, the more your actions will align with them. The more your actions align, the more results you see. And with each result, your belief strengthens until it is unshakable. This is how a simple shift in language turns into a complete transformation of your reality. Because when you only speak as though you've already won, life begins to rearrange itself to match your words. What you allow into your environment will either fuel your vision or drain it. Every sight, sound, and influence around you leaves an imprint on your mind, whether you realize it or not. Surrounding yourself with proof of possibility is about deliberately creating a world that reminds you of where you are going, not just where you are. When you fill your space with symbols of your goal, whether it's photos, affirmations, or objects that represent success, you keep your focus sharp and your motivation alive. These things become a constant whisper in the background, reminding you of what is possible and keeping your energy aligned with your purpose. Reminders are not mere decorations, they are tools. A photograph of a place you dream to visit, A vision board showing the life you are building, or a handwritten note of encouragement taped to your mirror can all serve as anchors for your belief. They keep your mind from drifting into doubt by pulling you back to the reality you're creating. On day as when motivation feels low, these reminders become silent mentors, speaking to you without words. I'm urging you to keep moving forward. The power of these symbols lies in repetition. The more often your eyes see them, the more your mind accepts them as normal and achievable. This is how possibility becomes expectation, through constant, unshakable exposure. It is much harder to forget your dream when it's staring at you from the wall, the background of your phone, or the first thing you see in the morning. Your environment becomes a training ground for your belief, conditioning you to think and act like the person who already lives that reality. It's not just about what you add to your space, but also about what you remove. Doubt can creep in through clutter, distractions, and reminders of failure. When you clear away the unnecessary and replace it with the inspiring, you shift the entire energy of your surroundings. Walking into a room that reflects your goals feels different than walking into one that reflects your past. The former energizes you, the latter traps you. People are part of your environment too. Surround yourself with those who reflect belief, ambition, and forward momentum. Their words, habits, and attitudes will rub off on you in ways that strengthen your commitment. Just as symbols remind your eyes of possibility, the right people remind your heart of it. They will celebrate your progress, hold you accountable, and reinforce the idea that what you are building is not only possible but inevitable. Over time, this curated environment will begin to change how you carry yourself and how you think. You will feel more focused, more driven, and more certain of your path. Every corner of your world will seem to point you toward your goal, leaving little room for distraction or doubt. When your surroundings constantly echo your vision, you begin to live in that reality before it fully arrives. And that is when your belief turns into results. Making decisions as if the path were already laid means moving through life with a sense of certainty, even when you cannot see every step ahead. It is choosing to act as though the outcome is already assured, as if the finish line is waiting for you no matter what. This approach eliminates the hesitation that keeps so many people stuck. When you believe the story is already written in your favor, you stop wasting time overthinking and start taking deliberate, confident action. This mindset changes how you weigh your options. Instead of being paralyzed by fear of making the wrong move, you focus on what will move you closer to a result you already expect. Winners understand that any choice made in alignment with their vision is better than standing still. They trust themselves enough to make a call, knowing they can adapt along the way. This is not recklessness, it is faith in motion. When you act as though the path is already prepared for you, the quality of your decisions improves. You are not deciding out of desperation or panic. You are deciding from a place of control and authority. This confidence affects how others respond to you as well. People are drawn to leaders who make firm, timely choices because it signals that they know where they are going and have no intention of turning back. Acting with this kind of certainty also creates momentum. Every decisive move you make builds on the last, pushing you forward and making the next decision easier, while others stall and second guess. You keep moving, adjusting only when necessary, but never stopping completely. The forward motion itself becomes a source of confidence, reinforcing the belief that the destination is inevitable. This approach requires letting go of the need for constant reassurance. Winners don't pause to ask permission from the world before they act. They decide and then make that decision right through effort and persistence. Even if the path ahead has twists, they walk it as if each turn is part of the design. That confidence not only moves them forward, but also encourages opportunities to reveal themselves along the way. Over time, making decisions like this shapes your identity. You begin to see yourself as someone who moves with purpose, someone who does not shy away from responsibility or choice. The more you live this way, the more your life reflects it. Doors open, eye progress accelerates, and the vision you once held in your mind begins to take shape in reality. Acting as if the path is already laid doesn't just change how you move, it changes where you arrive. Every obstacle you face is not a signal to retreat, but a sign that you are moving towards something worthwhile. The road to anything significant will never be smooth, and the very presence of resistance is proof that you are on a path worth walking. A mountain in your way means you are heading toward a summit, not wandering aimlessly through flat land. The struggle you feel is not the enemy. It is the confirmation that you are climbing toward something higher. When challenges arise, they test your belief in your own vision. If you truly believe you have already won, then setbacks become part of the story rather than the end of it. A blocked path forces you to grow creativity and resilience. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You begin to ask, what is this here to teach me? That shift in perspective transforms problems from burdens into tools, each one shaping you into the person capable of holding the victory you seek. Obstacles also act as filters, separating those who are committed from those who are merely curious. A majority will turn back at the first sign of difficulty, but the few who push through prove that their vision is stronger than their comfort. When you meet resistance and keep moving, you distinguish yourself as someone who is serious about reaching the top. In this way, every hardship you endure narrows the competition and brings you closer to your goal. Seeing obstacles as confirmation means understanding that growth often hides behind discomfort. The situations that stretch you, frustrate you, or seem impossible are the very ones that expand your capacity. Every time you overcome something that once intimidated you, you become more prepared for the demands of the next level. The process is uncomfortable, but the results are undeniable. You emerge stronger, wiser, and more capable than before. It is also important to remember that mountains are climbed one step at a time. You do not need to conquer the entire obstacle in a single day. You only need to keep moving forward. Some days will be leaps, others will be small, stubborn steps, but each one takes you closer to the summit. When you treat every bit of progress as a win, the mountain becomes less overwhelming and more like a challenge you are destined to master. In time, you will look back at the obstacles that once seemed unmovable and realize they were the very things that made your success possible. They forced you to grow into the version of yourself who could handle the victory you imagined. By treating every obstacle as proof you are on the right path, you replace fear with determination and doubt with certainty. The climb becomes part of the joy because you know that each difficulty is not a wall blocking your way. It is a step carved in the mountain leading you upward. Discipline is the quiet force that separates who dream from those who achieve. If you truly believe you have already won, then every action you take should reflect the standard of a champion. A champion does not wait for the spotlight to shine before they begin preparing. They train in silence long before anyone is watching. They understand that discipline is not a punishment. It is the greatest form of self respect. When you guard your habits with the seriousness of a king protecting his crown, you create a foundation so strong that nothing can easily shake it. The habits of a champion are not built in bursts of effort, but in the consistency of daily commitment. Small, repeated actions shape your identity far more than occasional moments of inspiration. This means showing up even when you don't feel like it, pushing through when it's inconvenient, and holding yourself accountable when no one else is checking. Believing you've already won means training as the victory is yours to lose, and that requires treating every day as a vital step toward keeping that title. Preparation is not only physical but also mental. A true champion disciplines their mind to stay focused under pressure, to reject distractions, and to maintain clarity when circumstances become chaotic. They rehearse success in their thoughts until it becomes second nature, and they feed their mind with ideas, knowledge, and inspiration that strengthen their resolve. This mental training is what allows them to remain composed while others crumble under the weight of challenge. Guarding your habits is an act of protecting your future. The smallest lapse, a skipped workout, an hour wasted on distractions, a meal chosen for comfort rather than fuel, may seem harmless in the moment, but over time it erodes your foundation. Champions know that discipline is not about perfection, but about refusing to let small slips turn into patterns. They correct themselves quickly and return to their standard because they understand that their future depends on the choices they make today. Discipline also builds trust in yourself. Each time you follow through on a commitment, you strengthen the belief that you can rely on your own word. This trust becomes a powerful source of confidence because you no longer question whether you have the ability to do what needs to be done. You've already proven it to yourself repeatedly. That confidence then fuels more discipline, creating a cycle that keeps you moving forward with unstoppable momentum. In the end, discipline transforms from something you have to force into something that feels natural. It stops being a burden and becomes a way of life, a reflection of who you are. When you reach that point, maintaining the standard of a champion is no longer a struggle. It's simply your default mode. And when you live with that level of consistency, the victory you once imagined is not just possible. It becomes inevitable. Gratitude is not something you save for the moment after you succeed. It is the mindset that draws that success closer to you. When you choose to feel thankful before the evidence of victory appears, you signal to yourself and to the world that you already believe in the outcome. This belief changes how you move, how you speak, and how you approach each day. It replaces anxiety with peace and doubt with quiet confidence. By showing gratitude in advance, you step into the emotional state of someone who has already achieved what they set out to do, and that alignment has power. Being grateful now sharpens your awareness of progress even when it feels small. Every lesson, every opportunity, and even every challenge becomes something you value because you see it as part of the process that is taking you to your goal. This prevents you from falling into the trap of waiting for happiness to arrive only after the big win. Instead, you learn to experience it along the way, which keeps your motivation alive and your energy high. Gratitude also has a magnetic quality. It draws people, opportunities, and ideas to you. Others can feel the difference between someone who radiates appreciation and someone who constantly complains. When you approach life with thankfulness, you become more pleasant to work with, more inspiring to be around, and more trusted by those who can help you on your path. This natural pull opens doors that force or desperation could never unlock. Choosing gratitude in advance also strengthens resilience. When setbacks happen, you are less likely to view them as failures and more likely to see them as hidden gifts or stepping stones. This perspective keeps you from being crushed by temporary disappointments, allowing you to recover faster and stay on course. Gratitude shifts your focus away from what is missing and toward what is possible, keeping your vision clear even when the path feels uncertain. Over time, this habit of expressing thanks before the visible victory rewires how you experience life. You stop chasing fulfillment as something to be earned later and begin living from it now. The world starts to mirror that inner state, presenting you with the very results you were grateful for all along. Gratitude, when practiced ahead of time, is more than just a good attitude. It is a strategy for drawing the future you want into the present moment. Scribe. Refusing to entertain defeat begins with guarding the thoughts you allow to take root in your mind. A single moment of dwelling on failure can open the door for doubt to spread, slowly weakening your belief in your own success. Just as a gardener pulls weeds before they can choke the healthy plants, you must remove thoughts of defeat before they gain strength. This doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means choosing to focus your attention on solutions, possibilities, and the next step forward rather than the fear of losing. Every victory begins as an idea, and every defeat does too. When you constantly replay worst case scenarios in your mind, you give them life and power, making them more likely to influence your actions. But when you train yourself to redirect those thoughts, replacing them with images of success and progress, you create a mental environment where winning feels natural. Over time, your mind will instinctively lean toward optimism rather than pessimism, even under pressure. The discipline to shut out defeat is not just about positive thinking, it's about mental resilience. Life will present challenges that seem designed to test your belief, and in those moments, you will be tempted to give energy to thoughts of quitting. The key is to remember that feeding those thoughts is like watering weeds in your own garden. Instead, choose to feed your vision, your preparation, and your belief so that they grow strong enough to overpower any fear. This mindset also shapes how others respond to you. People can sense when someone has already given up inside, even if they are still going through the motions on the outside. By refusing to mentally surrender, you carry yourself with a quiet strength that inspires confidence in those around you. That presence can attract allies, mentors, and opportunities that might otherwise pass you by if you appeared uncertain or defeated. Over time, this refusal to entertain defeat becomes a habit and then a way of life. You stop wasting energy on outcomes you do not want and pour it entirely into building the outcome you desire. You learn to see setbacks not as signs of failure, as temporary detours, and you hold on to the belief that no matter how difficult the moment, the story is not over. This inner commitment to victory will eventually manifest outward, because mind that refuses to quit will always find a way to win. Inspiring others with your conviction begins with embodying the certainty you want them to feel. When you carry yourself as if your success is inevitable, people can sense it without you saying a word. Your energy communicates stability, vision, and confidence, and those qualities are contagious. Even individuals who may be unsure of their own abilities can be lifted by your example, feeling a spark of belief simply because they see you living as though winning is the only possible outcome. When your actions consistently align with your words, you create trust. People are far more likely to follow someone else by the principles they speak about. Every time you face a challenge and respond with determination instead of panic, you reinforce your credibility. This reliability builds influence because people know to view you as a leader, someone who will not waver when the path gets difficult. Your conviction becomes a source of stability for those around you. Sometimes people will believe in your vision that fully can fully believe in their own. This is where your role becomes more than just chasing personal success. You become a living example of what's possible by speaking confidently about the future and showing unwavering faith in the outcome. You lend strength to others who are still finding their own. In this way, your belief acts as a bridge, allowing them to cross into greater confidence until they can walk on their own. Your conviction also creates momentum within a group. People naturally rally around someone who radiates certainty because it feels safer to move forward when the person leading appears unshakable. This doesn't mean you have to have all the answers. It means you have to demonstrate that you will keep moving forward no matter what. That determination can unite teams, inspire collaboration, and push collective efforts further than they could go without such leadership. Over time, I was inspiring others with your conviction builds a network of believers, people who not only follow you, but also begin to carry that same energy into their own lives. Your influence multiplies as each person you goes on to inspire others, creating a ripple effect that extends far beyond your immediate reach. By acting like you've already won, you give others permission to see themselves as winners too, and that shared belief has the power to change more than just your own story. It can change theirs as well. And never stepping out of character means committing to the identity of a winner, no matter what circumstances arise. It is easy to act confident when everything is going well, but the real test comes when pressure mounts, when setbacks hit, and when doubt tries to creep back in. A true champion does not shift their mindset to match the situation. They hold their standard regardless of what is happening around them. This consistency is what allows them to navigate challenges without losing momentum or credibility. When you choose the crown in your mind, you are making more than a temporary decision. You are shaping your identity. You stop treating success as an event that happens occasionally and start treating it as the way you live. This means the habits, the language, the posture, and the choices of a winner become your normal. They are not put on like a costume for special occasions. They are part of who you are at all times. Returning to old patterns of doubt or insecurity will weaken the foundation you've built. The moment you step out of character, you send a message to yourself and to others that your confidence was conditional. Conditional belief crumbles under pressure, but unconditional commitment grows stronger the more it is tested. By staying in character, even in private moments, when no one is watching, you reinforce that your identity is not an act but a reality. Consistency in your mindset builds trust, both in yourself and in those who rely on you. People are far more likely to be your leadership when your leaders see that you do not fluctuate between certainty and hesitation. They know they can count on you to remain steady, which makes them more willing to stand with you through challenges. This steady presence is a hallmark of leaders who not only win, but keep winning. This commitment also protects you from sabotage. Many people lose their success not because they lacked ability, but because they returned to old thinking patterns once they achieved something. They allowed doubt, laziness, or fear to erode the habits that brought them their victory. By refusing to break character, you ensure that you never drift back into behaviors that would undo your progress. Over time, staying in character becomes effortless. You no longer have to remind yourself to think, speak, and act like a winner. It becomes second nature. The crown you once chose in your mind is no longer invisible. It shows in your presence, your decisions, and your results. And because you never take it off, the world learns to see you exactly as you see yourself, as someone who wins not just once, but for a lifetime. So, act as if the race has already been run and the trophy is already in your hands. Walk, speak, and decide like the victor you are. For the truth is this: when you carry the belief of a winner, life itself will rise to meet you, and the victory you imagined will become the victory you live.